Hey, what's up everyone? Happy hump day. Good morning. Thank you for all who was able to make it to this rescheduled episode with Mike Martin. Today we'll be talking about the rank and rent SEO strategy. We'll learn all about Mike Martin and the products he's put out. He's the founder of Lead Simplify and also, I believe, the Magic Page plugin. If you're just tuning in, today we are talking about the rank and rent strategy with Mike Martin, a rescheduled episode from last week at this very special time and morning, for me at least. Oh yeah, Stefan was able to make it, my man, Stefan. Oh yeah, I see Mike in the back. Okay. Oh yeah. Welcome everyone. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Our very special guest today is Mike Martin, and we'll be talking about the rank and rent SEO strategy. Thank you for all those who was able to make it. Marcus, hey, what's up, Dre? Oh, Logan, I haven't seen you in a while. What's up, Mike and Dre? There we go. Deandra Ruano. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Deandra. Oh yeah, Mike got his background ready. Looking good. If you're just tuning in, today is a rescheduled episode with a very special guest today, Mike Martin. And we'll be talking about the rank and rent SEO strategy, all his cool products he has going on. So get your questions ready, and I will answer them in the order that they are received. Any of you guys going to the Digital Unfiltered conference? I'll be heading out there, doing some event coverage, doing some impromptu interviews, and shooting some photos and videos for you guys. The Digital Unfiltered conference is by Craig Campbell and Chris Palmer out in Las Vegas, so be sure to check that out. Go to digitalunfiltered.com. I'll put the link in the live chat right now. Guys, I put the link in the live chat. Be sure to check that out. If you want to check out the conference, I'll be out there shooting some photos and videos and doing some impromptu interviews. It's later in August. Again, if you're just tuning in, we have Mike Martin in the back talking about all the rank and rent SEO strategies. We'll talk about his SEO journey and all the cool things he has going on. Mike, can you hear me okay?
Yep, can hear you perfect, mate.
Oh yeah, I can hear you just well as well. Are you feeling a lot better? You look good, man.
Yeah, I'm just not. Yeah, I'm still a bit. But other than that, I'm okay.
All right.
I hope it's not serious anymore, is it? Everyone's like, you'll be right in a few days.
Oh yeah. We got about 5.5 more minutes to go, guys. Be sure to get your questions ready. We're going to be talking about the rank and rent SEO strategy. We'll talk about Lead Simplify. We'll talk about the Mass Page plugin. Still got some good stuff. Did you see the agenda? I kind of added some stuff to kind of like talk about and in the.
Hey, I'll just wing it.
All right.
You know, I know what. I know my shit off by heart. So we're good.
All right. Sounds good, guys. All right.
2 minutes. We're starting 4, yeah?
Yeah. 4 minutes.
Two
Yeah,
then.
4. Yeah, 4.5. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. We got about 4 more minutes to go. Today's a special episode, a reschedule of last week. Today's special guest is Mike Martin, and we'll be talking about the rank and rent SEO strategy. Be sure to get your questions ready. If you're on LinkedIn, I could see your comments, but they probably will not show up on the live stream. Even on Facebook. By the way, be sure to get your questions ready. We got about 3.5 more minutes to go. Today's special guest is Mike Martin, and we'll be talking about the rank and rent SEO strategy. Again, if you are going to the Digital Unfiltered Conference, be sure to say hi and let me know you watched the show. It'll be awesome to meet you guys in person. That's sometime next month. I believe starts this August 22nd to the 24th. I'll put on the flyer here. Let me see if I can bring up the flyer, you guys.
Yeah, in Vegas, 22nd to the 24th it is.
Yeah. Are you going to be heading out there?
Now we might be going to Estonia and yeah, probably Brighton, but we're going to skip we've got something else on.
Got it. Man, I gotta get out to Europe sometime. Wait, you're based out in UK, right?
Yeah, I'm in the UK, me. So Estonia and Brighton. Brighton's like an hour and a half drive from me.
Oh, that's nothing. that's like a commute to like.
Yeah, Vegas is mission. Good 12 hours on a plane.
Yeah, I know.
All right, Craig and Chris, though. Craig and Chris are both from the UK, so they'll be. Oh, is Chris from the UK? No, he's not, is he? Craig's from the UK though, so Craig will have a big old flight on his hands.
Yeah, Craig's gonna be out there. I believe Craig and Chris are the ones that's kind of putting it together for. They have another partner, so they're gonna be putting this thing together here. If you're just tuning in, we got Mike Martin in the back. We'll be talking about the rank and rent SEO strategy and so much more. We got some cool things going on. The Lead Simplify and Magic Page plugin. So be sure to get your questions ready. Thank you for those coming out on the special time. I see a few of you out there. Don't be shy. Say hi in the live chat. We got 1 more minute to go. So this is the conference, Digital Unfiltered. We have a few speakers going on. I'll be out there taking photos, video, and covering the event for you guys. So be sure to check that out. We got about 1 more minute to go. So, Mike, I'm going to put you on pause.
Didn't know Brian Cato was speaking.
Was that? Oh, yeah, Brian Cato. Yeah, Brian Cato's going to be out there. So, Mike, I'm gonna put you on mute for now, and in about 8 minutes, I'll introduce you to the crowd. All right. Let me there.
Hey, time to get it started, no delay, let's work. Wanna see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre De Vera, steady dropping knowledge. Over 15 years in the game, so he knows all about it. Master the art of SEO, you will be amazed. Time to get your brand off page to on page. Dropping knowledge, legendary for sure. Whether you're just getting started or self-employed entrepreneur. Yeah, let's go. Subscribe to the SEO video show. Hey!
Hey, welcome to another episode of the SEO video show where SEO is alive and fun. My name is Paul Andre De Vera, aka Dre, and I curate SEO videos released in the past week into about 1-minute clips. My favorite part of the show is when I get to introduce my guest, and my guest today is the founder of Lead Simplify, Mike Martin. Before we get started, let's say what's up to everyone in chat. I see Nisha, Stefan, Deandra, Logan, Marcus. Thank you everyone for coming by. Please be sure to support the channel by liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell. Now let's get on with the show.
Hey Dre, what kind of fruit do SEOs like best? Low-hanging fruit.
Google shared a new case study in Google Search Central on video SEO. Videos continue to grow in the importance as a format for content creation and consumption on the web, and they can appear on Google search results across all platforms and locales. Google aims to identify and understand and display useful videos from around the web and helping people find relevant content and making it easier to consume. I've been a huge advocate for producing and optimizing video content, particularly on YouTube. Okay, Google's Perspective is a new search element we can optimize for, and that actually also pulls videos. John Muller shares top 3 Google SEO updates for July. Let's check this one out.
Top 3 Google SEO updates for July 2023. Number 1, the Core Web Vitals. We recently clarified how we use Core Web Vitals in our helpful content ranking system. By dropping of mobile friendliness, removing the mobile usability report, and the mobile-friendly testing tool in Search Console with its API at the end of the year. And we announced that interaction to Next Paint will become a part of the Core Web Vitals. Number 2, Search Console. We launched an update to the Rich Results test that allows code editing. It makes trying out fixes to your markup much easier and faster. Search Console Insights now also supports users without Google Analytics. Number 3, generative AI. Recently, we launched Search Labs, a place where you can sign up and try out new products and ideas that we're exploring. So here's mine.
Be sure, if you haven't signed up for Google Search Labs, be sure to do it today. I mean, you'll get access to the new SGE experience, and you can get a head start on analyzing the new features you can start optimizing for. Okay, the real reason you're not ranking higher in Google. Sam O says the very first thing is to do is check the eligibility of your pages. Let's check out what he's talking about.
Now, when I say eligibility, I'm referring to one of several reasons why it may be impossible for your page to achieve a higher ranking. For example, if you set your page's meta robots tag as no index, then you're asking Google not to index your page, and therefore you won't be eligible to rank. And the same principles apply if you were to block the page in your robots.txt file. Another eligibility factor is if you've had a manual action or some other penalty. Now, another eligibility category that may not be so obvious is time. While it's possible to rank new pages at the top of Google quickly, the majority of pages are going to take quite a while to make its way up to the first page. In fact, in our study of 2 million random keywords, we found that only 22% of pages that ranked in the top 10 were created within 1 year. So if you've published a page and it's not ranking in the top 10 in a month or even up to 6 months, I'd say give it some time before you start overanalyzing and making significant changes. Now, there are definitely other factors that can come into play when it comes to eligibility.
Be sure to check out the whole video to learn more reasons why your pages are not ranking. Google Images SEO ranking secret by Ranking Academy. Check this one out.
Check out this image. What do you see? Yep, a tattoo artist, right? Now, take a look at this other picture. What do you see here? Same tattoo artist, isn't it? So if you were a tattoo artist and had to pick just one of these images for your website to boost your Google rankings, which one would you go for? Number 2 is the winner. How do I know? I used Google's Vision AI tool to see what Google recognizes in these images. In the first picture, Google identifies a hand with 96% accuracy and a tattoo artist with 88% accuracy. But in the second picture, Google sees a tattoo artist with 93% accuracy, meaning it would be a better choice to rank higher on Google for keywords related to tattoo artists. Picking the right images for your content helps Google understand your business better, so make sure you choose wisely. Before you upload images on your website, give Google Vision AI a shot for free so you can pick the best images for your website and your Google business profile. Follow or subscribe for more.
I've used Google Vision to pull out entities, but never thought of this idea. So this is definitely something worth testing out. And if you need help deciding what image to use, you can always turn to Google Cloud Vision. Audience research before keyword research by Ross Hudgens. Let's check this one out.
Audience research before you do any keyword research. If you're new to an industry or a company or a business, or even as a refresher from time to time, we suggest going and doing a deep dive on that business to really understand the mind of the customer and how they make buying decisions. So how can you go about doing this? A few examples. One, listen to sales calls. That's the best way to do it. Hear how customers describe their problems. That is probably also how they search for things. Look at form submits. How are they writing those things and describing them? Probably also how they're Googling them. Look at other details, actually talk to them, ask them questions directly how they might search for these problems to understand it further. There's also great sales tools today. If you have an enterprise program that will actually record the transcripts for all of your sales team's calls and give you patterns in that data, which is super powerful for understanding how people might search. So in total, you can see how this can kind of add up for you getting to know the business and the buyer and the customer.
This is a must for any enterprise SEO, especially when you're picking up a new client or even starting a new job. Now that we have AI, we can quickly grab sales transcripts and plug them into ChatGPT or our favorite AI for analysis. A tool I use on top of this is Smart Turtle by Rand Fishkin. Okay, this brings me to my favorite part of the show. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell while I get things ready here. But before we get started, here's a word from our sponsor. Ever wondered how to get your brand noticed? I found the answer with Magic PR. Thanks to Magic PR, my brand now reaches over 300 plus premium news and media outlets. I've seen my news on AP, Bloomberg, Yahoo News, and many more. And it's not just about visibility. With Magic PR's unique SEO process, I've noticed incredible boost in traffic to my site and improved local and organic rankings. From crafting the perfect press release to building a powerful SEO campaign, Magic PR is always there for me. Want to experience the magic of PR? Try Magic PR just like I did. Watch your business reach new heights. Mike has been in lead generation for over 10 years. He is a rank and rent expert and operates 4 software companies. He has been got a 7-figure income on virtually complete autopilot. He has the #1 best-selling author in US and UK with Rank and Rent book. You might know him as the creator of the hybrid lead generation method. Please welcome Mike Martin. Mike, my man, welcome to the show.
Yeah, like, pal, I don't even have an intro like out on my own podcast.
Everyone, let's give a round of applause. Mike, thank you for coming by. I'm gonna get right into it. This is the first question I ask all my SEO professionals that come on board in 1 minute or less. How does Mike get ranking on page 1 of Google?
Usually, right, okay. Well, I do a lot of local SEO, so I'm not a national SEO. So the way we do it is we use user behavior. So we'll build a normal local website. Once we've built a normal local website, I won't go into all the bullshit around how we build it and the content and the linking and all that crap. But then what we'll do is we'll pick like 5 or 10 local areas. So we'll target keyword location. Mm-hmm. Then we'll put 5 or 10 local areas that have only got really low search volume, like 50 to 300 searches a month. Mm-hmm. And then what we do is we build them keyword location. They're almost identical to the main page. Then what we do is we build links to them. As soon as they start to get ranked really quickly, Google sees that obviously people are searching, landing. They're not going back and making the same search on Google, and that pushes the main page right the way up Google because they link into it. And we use user behavior for speed because it's a lot more difficult doing what a lot of people are doing now, where is content and link building and everything else on its own. But if you focus on these easy ranking pages that target the same intent as the main page, that you can rank the main page much, much faster.
Love that. Love that first knowledge bomb of today. Let's rewind this quick. Let's rewind. Mike, take us way back, over 10 years ago. How'd you first get into SEO?
I was a locksmith. I was out on the road, and if you imagine in the locksmith industry, most people are sole traders that are home and they're in a van, and they basically, if you're not at the top of Google, you get no work. You kind of, nobody searches for you. If you're not at the top of Google, you get locked out your house, you look on your phone, and then you find the guy at the top locksmith. So I was using paid ads, but what happens in that industry is everybody clicks everybody else, because everybody wants to be at the top, and it's like 15, 20 quid a click. So everyone's click. And I was like, I need to find a way out of this shit, man, because I was literally running out of money fast. So, I found a way to get SIM cards, free SIM cards, and a £1 SIM card, and you could create a website with it. So I got like loads of them and started building them, and I started building and ranking and building pages. And then that was how I got into it. I built my business off the back of it. So we ended up with over we ended up with about 800, but by the time I gave the business to my brother and sister, we had about 600 subcontractors on a national basis working for us, all from local SEO.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so take us, let us know like your learning process. How'd you like learn it back then?
Well, because you've been in the game for 10 plus years. Back then, it was a case of stuffing shitloads of keywords into a page and just write as much. If you wrote more content and built loads of links, and it just worked. So it was dead easy. And then it slowly, over a period of time, got more difficult. But the first ever bit of content I wrote, I remember saying to my missus, I need to get every single word into the page. So I wrote down every single word I could think of to do with locksmithing. And then I got a crate of beer, drank a crate of beer, and I wrote it by hand. The first article I ever wrote, I wrote it by hand, and I had to fit every keyword in the page. And I wrote this story about people breaking into garages and climbing through windows and all sorts of mad shit like that. But that piece of content I put on about 15 different websites, and I hit the top spot of Google in like loads of major cities with it. And it just skyrocketed from there. But it was because back in the day, it was super easy.
Love that. So, what were some of like your resources? Were you like following anyone? Were you like looking at any websites, any forums and stuff like that?
No, I was 3 years into building my websites before I found out WordPress existed. So I used to build them in HTML, the individual pages, manually put the links in, and then what I would do is copy, paste, and edit, and then I'd edit out all the location information and just build a new page and a new page. And it took us, I think it took us about 8 weeks to build our first 900-page websites. We were building and building and building and building, but we started ranking in all the areas. So at the time, no, not until I started doing my own training and bringing in my own students, I hadn't really followed any SEOs. The only two that I kind of will still listen to quite a bit. There's a guy called Jimmy Kelly. I don't know if you know who that is. And a guy called Mike Pierce. I've seen quite a few bits of what they've done, and I think they're super smart. So I tend to, Kyle Roof's pretty decent, but that's about it really. But they're more modern. Right back in the day, it was SEO for Dummies. I bought the book SEO for Dummies. Read the book and started implementing all the stuff into my websites myself, and that was it. That was the start of my business. That's what started it all off.
Love that. Perfect segue to businesses, because in your intro, I mentioned that you have 4 software companies. I'm curious, can you mention all 4 of them and then kind of briefly talk about each one of them?
So, like I said to you earlier, the first ever mass page sites I built, it took us 8 weeks to build a 900-page website. So eventually I went off to Upwork, employed a few different devs, and I got a plugin built called Magic Page Plugin. And that basically, now a lot of people put it in the same family as the mass page plugin tools, but it's not a mass page builder, right? What we designed it for is because when you've got a local business and you're trying to rank it on the internet, let's say you're trying to rank for Manchester, which is a major city, that business that's going to rank for that local area will probably drive within a 15-mile radius, and he'll happily travel to all these different areas for business. So what we designed it for was so that we could build realistic sites that look to Google like, okay, well, I'd expect a plumber, a locksmith, an electrician. So it was built for manual trades to drive to those areas. So what you do now is you build a major city site page, and then you add a magic page, and it'll rebuild that page for all of the additional areas in the radius you want to cover, including all your geolocation data, your longitude and latitude data, your schema, and all that stuff, and all your backend data, so you don't actually get penalized for duplicate content, because the message to market is the same on every page, which is as it would be if the same plumber's driving from Manchester to Oldham to do a job, or from Miami to somewhere near Miami to do the same job. So it kind of works like that. So it's like it's designed for a radius. Lead Simplify. I remember I was sat in a chair. I suffer with gout. I'm sat in a chair, and my now business partner came in, and I was doing a deal with a kitchen company that my sister and her partner owned. So he'd come round to see me. I think he was dropping some cash off for me back in the days when we still had cash. And he basically, and I had a phone in this hand, a payment terminal, a little notepad, and another little notepad. One had all me guys that were subcontracting work off me. The other one I was writing down the jobs. I was answering the ones on this, making calls on this, and then taking payments on my card machine. And he walked in, and his words, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on here.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
But it was like, what the fuck are you doing? Was his question. And I was like, I'm running my business, and I was dead proud of myself because I had my leg up and I was still making loads of money. So answering calls, picking up calls, moving around, doing all this. And he's like, we need to automate that because that's like ridiculous. And I was working like 15, 16-hour days. So he helped me build a tool, Lead Simplify, which enables you to collect, distribute, and sell leads on autopilot. And if you get a lead coming into your system and there's nobody in the area, this is genius, right? What it does. So let's say you allocate a phone number for Manchester. You can say to the system, this is Manchester and it's relating to plumbers. And if you've got no lead buyers or no rental clients in the area, what it'll do is it'll automatically scour the area, find up to 60 plumbers in the area and ring them all simultaneously, right? So all the phones ring simultaneously. And then it'll say to them, right, you got a free lead from XYZ Leads, whatever your company's called. To accept, press 1. And the first person that presses 1 basically gets the lead for free. And then they become a hot prospect in your system. So every phone call that your site generates, you get 59 hot prospects, up to 59 hot prospects, and one hot prospect. 59 prospects, one hot prospect. And then you can automate the actual building of the system and growing your business. So that was built around what we were doing with our own SEO. The other one's WP Schema plugin, which enables you to go to websites that have already got great schema, click a button, import their schema, edit it for your information, and click set, and that's done. And we did that because code's complicated, so that's difficult. And I've got Page Rewriter, which is an AI content tool, which enables you to basically take any piece of it. So you can type in key, like Locksmith Manchester, for example. It'll write you a full article, but when anything's written via AI, ChatGPT, or any form of AI, Google can tell because of the algorithm. So we built a system inside it that breaks the algorithm and kind of turns it into human written content. So that's why we use that. We actually don't use our own tool for writing our content. We use ChatGPT to write the content, but then we import it into our tool just to click the button and say make human, and it'll rewrite it and make it human, so it's 100% human readable. So it's brilliant. And there are 4 tools.
Love that. I gotta check that out myself. Interesting stuff there. Okay. Now we are on topic of rank and rents. For those, can you briefly explain what rank and rent SEO strategy and why it benefits businesses? Because just in case, because you're the first person to talk about this on the show. So just for those that don't know what the rank and rent strategy, like the overview and why it could benefit businesses.
So the strategy with rank and rent is you build a local website, you rank it in half a dozen areas, you use Lead Simplify to go out and find you the lead buyers. So initially when a site first comes in, it might only be doing 5 leads a week, and then 10, and then 15 and 20. And it takes time to get to a decent number of leads. And then once you're at a decent number of leads, you reach out to the businesses. But what we tend to do is reach out to the people that Lead Simplify has already prospected for us inside our system. And we say, you've been receiving free leads for like a few weeks. What we're going to do is we're going to give you every single lead that comes through the site for 30 days. If you like it, you're going to pay us every single month. If you don't like it, we're going to rent it out to your competition. And then you're just renting. All you're doing is renting websites to local businesses. And I mean, you can do it in any industry, but it works really well with manual trades, because a lot of the manual trades industry, people tend to search on the mobile phone the second something comes in. So it's like, shit, we've got a leak under the sink, phone a plumber. First thing you do is plumber, we'll rank at the top, and they'll get loads of business. So that's all rank and rent is. It's just ranking local websites and then renting them out.
Love that. Love that. So, I mean, for you, I mean, why'd you even start doing that? I mean, how'd you even think about that? I mean, have you been doing this for over 10 years already?
No, I don't do much rank and rent anymore because there's a lot more money in selling leads direct to local businesses. So whereas I could turn around and say, give me $1,000 a month for this website, but if this website's generating 100 leads and I can get $100 a piece for those leads, then I'm throwing money in the bin. So I tend to do a lot more of that now. But what it is when you very first start out, I got gout in my foot, so I needed to figure out how to build a business where I didn't have to get out of a chair. Okay. Right. So I was on the tools at first. So I started giving the guys a percentage of every job, and I took a percentage, but the paperwork was ridiculous. Then I started renting sites out to individuals and realized that was good, but it was difficult to build. Like with taking a percentage of every job, I could easily get to 50, 60K a month. But as soon as I started renting out sites, if you rent out 50 sites at $1,000 a month each, you're talking 50 grand a month, but there's a shitload of work involved. So it's difficult. So what we started doing instead is selling the leads, and then you've kind of still not got a client. Every time a phone rings, they pick up the phone, you get paid. Every time a form comes in, they get an email and you get paid. And so we went down that route, but we did it because I basically couldn't get out of a chair. I had gout, couldn't walk proper, so I needed to find out it was either that or I was going out of business. So I tried all the different models you can imagine, and we ended up settling on one called the booking fee model. So what we do a lot of lead sales to existing clients, but when we target a new industry, so let's say you was going after the electrician niche in Florida, instead of having to go out and find people to to rent your sites or to buy your leads, instead what we do is wait till the phone starts ringing. I'll have somebody on minimum. In fact, we don't give minimum wage anymore. We do it commission only. Right? I'll have somebody based at home who picks up the phone and answers the phone. Right? And then they'll say to the customer, right, I need a full address and postcode, or full address and zip code, a credit or debit card to secure your appointment. Once they've given that information, they take them through the job, give them a quote. If the customer accepts, they take a deposit over the phone, right? Say a £50 deposit. Yep. Then all they need to do is I pay them 20% of that deposit. I keep 80%. And then what I will also do is they then phone around the local area and say, I've got a job here. You can have it for free. Do you want it? There's 200 quid to collect, or there's $200 to collect. Do you want it? And the businesses are like, yeah, why are you giving it me for free? Yeah. And it's like, yeah, don't worry about it. We'll give you loads of free work. So what we've done is we've spun it right on its head now, where we end up giving away free work to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different industries and hundreds of different businesses, not industries, but probably about 40 or 50 different industries where we just give work away for free and we take booking fees. And that's like really easy to get set up, because the second your phone starts ringing, you literally, all you've got to do is pick it up and say, hi, can I help? Yeah, it'll cost you $250. We need $50 to secure your appointment. If you cancel, it's non-refundable. If they say, yeah, great. If they say no, it's like, fuck them, next one. And you just do that, and you can collect hundreds and hundreds of dollars every single day from one website. And all you're doing is giving the work away. So you end up with businesses phoning you up saying, you've not sent me any work for a while. I'm like, I've cancelled my ad campaign and everything because I was reliant on you. And you end up with businesses completely reliant on you. And all you're ever doing is giving them work. So they're really nice to you. They're not like clients. They kind of end up sucking up to you rather than being assholes with you.
Love that. So making them instead of becoming clients, you're actually making them like depend on you instead of you depending on them. Love that. All right. So, I mean, we've been talking about leads a lot. I mean, you kind of developed the hybrid lead generation course, which kind of includes the organic and paid strategies. I mean, can you share this combination and how powerful it is to lead generation? Like, talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, what we use that hybrid model. Well, the hybrid model is based around growing a single industry and taking over a niche. So we always say go after an industry that's an inch wide, mile deep. So I wouldn't necessarily go and build websites for general plumbers, because if I build a website for a general plumber, I'm a generalist, and he could be getting toilet unblocking, and he could be getting all sorts of different crappy jobs. So when you're trying to get a plumber to say, do you want the leads off this site? They're like, no, I'm not interested in emergency stuff or blogs. So what we'll tend to do is instead we'll go after boiler installations or boiler repairs or underfloor heating or something that's within the plumbing industry, but a lot tighter. And then what we do is we use our existing client base to market to their friends and make them affiliates, so they get a percentage of everything that their friends who join us get. So we'll say, right, you're the Manchester guy. We need a plumber to start taking work off us in Liverpool and in Leeds and in Rochester and different areas. And when they join, we kind of turn plumbers into our affiliates. So we kind of spread across country using word of mouth through so we only need to find one or two businesses in a niche. that will either rent the websites, buy our leads, and once we've found them, we turn their friends into affiliates of their friends. So we'll say, make a recommendation to this guy in Liverpool, and if he signs up, 20% of everything he ever spends with us, you get, or 10% we do now because we've got a bit bigger. But we used to do 20%, and that spreads us because they go to all like the plumbing conferences and things like that. So they'll meet loads of other guys, and they're like, I've got this guy who, or they'll say, I've got this guy who just gives me free work. That gets spread you via word of mouth as well. So the hybrid lead generation business model is kind of based around that. It's kind of a bit difficult to explain in a few minutes on a podcast, but the hybrid model is based mainly around that and automating your business using Lead Simplify.
Excellent.
Okay. Speaking of niches, I mean, you were talking about like picking different ones. I'm curious, like for those that want to get into like the whole rank and rent strategy and project. I mean, how do you find the right niche? I mean, like, what are the fundamentals of a local business to find a profitable niche for, like, you know, in your experience?
There's two questions for it really. Is there high search volume or high value? And if you can find one that's got both, then you've hit the nail on the head. It really is that simple. It's not obviously if it's got thousands of search and it's low value, then like window cleaning, for example, or something like it used to be milk delivery in the UK, or there's DJs. DJs is a great example. DJs will get tons and tons and tons of search, but it's a very, very low price job. So you might only be charging $2 or $3 a lead, but you can sell that lead to 15 or 20 different guys by automating it with Lead Simplify, and it'll sell it to 15 or 20, and they're happy to pay $3 a lead and quote against 15 other DJs to get this job. And then on the complete other end, if you're going after, say, accountants or lawyers, you can charge $1,000 a lead, but a lot of the time there's high search, so there's a lot of competition. And a lot of the time they want the leads to only go to them. So we use a model that's kind of, we share it. So we'd say, right, first lead goes to this guy, second lead to this, third lead to this, fourth lead to this. So if guy number one says to us, right, well, I don't want to work with you anymore, we're not asked because we've still got 3 other guys in the same area taking leads off us. And then we'll always have like 4 or 5 different businesses in an area taking leads. We never sell an area to an individual, because selling an area to an individual puts you in a situation where they kind of own you. Because if they leave, you're like, shit, we've got 100 leads a month coming in a location, and now we've got to go and find someone to work with us. We never do that anymore. We did at the beginning. We were like, yeah, it'll be your mate, and we'll do this for you, and we'll do that for you. And we did loads for people, and then they were like, no, I don't want the leads anymore, or I'm retiring and I forgot to tell you. And it's like, then we had to go on a mission. So now we just said, you know what we're going to do? We do a fastest finger first on some industries. So if you've got an industry like towing, you know, where you vehicle breakdowns, them guys never answer the phones. So with those type of leads, we use a system inside of Lead Simplify again called fastest finger first. So what happens is that if it's a towing lead, we'll have 5 phones ring simultaneously every time a lead comes in. So they'll phone up and the lead will automatically ring 5 phones. And the first person to pick it up and answer it and speak to the client, they get the lead. So they pay for the lead. And the guys that don't answer the phones, so there's so many different models. I've not thought about some of these for ages because we just do it now without thinking about it.
Love that. Okay. So high search volume, high value, the best niche you can get right there, right? Especially in the rank and rent model. So speaking of ranking and rent, I mean, you need to develop a website, right? You need to create a website. I'm curious, can you kind of like, you know, a really high level kind of like break down like creating these type of websites? Like, are you actually creating a Google business profile for each of these? Are you know, what's kind of the framework that you are using to build some of these websites?
Okay, so we won't build a Google profile right out of the gate, straight away. So what we tend to do is if we're going for the rental model, obviously the first step is you want to target a major city because you want to be able to speak to a business and say, then you put magic page plugin on it to build a radius around it. And when you're building out these sites, they're very, very easy. You can actually rank in a lot of areas without any backlinks, which is where most people get to and then they stop. So you'll get a website, in some cases, they'll rank in 5 or 6 half decent areas in the radius, and they won't bother going any further with it. But I think some of the keys with the local stuff is you can actually win just with good content structure. So H tag for the first keyword location, then you've got your sub niches doing in your H2s and fast loading pages, WebP images, plenty of content. I always say to my students, think Wikipedia. So if you're writing content, think Wikipedia. A doctor knows everything about a subject when you go and see him, but he doesn't necessarily spew it all out all over you when you go. You ask him certain questions. So as long as you've got your H2s, that makes it accessible for them. So if they've got a question that or something that they want to find out, they get to your website, they can skim it and see the H2 pop up with the big writing that says, and they know that they're at the right area. So what you've got to do is cover the whole subject, but also make it easy for them to find what it is they're looking for on the page. And again, that goes back to user behavior, because obviously one of the worst signals you can send to Google is somebody coming to your website and then going back to Google and making the search again. So we play everything around trust, authority, relevance, and then we try and use user behavior to build those three areas up in our websites as quick as possible. Like you were saying earlier on, authority takes time. You wasn't saying it, was on one of your things that popped up there. Authority takes time. Trust and relevance, super quick, super easy. You can get a few. We use a broken link checker tool, and we'll scrape big sites, and we'll get all sorts. Like I've got Wikipedia links to some of my sites, and Red Cross links and things like that. And we do all that by scraping expired links. But the authority side of things, unfortunately, you need to build that up over time. And we found the quickest way to do it is focusing on user behavior.
Love that. So you're scraping Wikipedia's finding broken links. That's some crazy interesting stuff there for people out there that didn't think about that strategy of finding links. So you basically just have a tool that just searches Wikipedia and says whatever's broken link, and you just kind of claim those somehow.
Yeah, pretty much. We'll buy the site, we'll build it. So we'll buy the site that it links to. Because what you're looking for, Ahrefs a great tool for it. Use Ahrefs and it'll come up and say that they can't find this particular site. So if you go to the broken link tool, there's 404s, but then there's ones that say that, I can't remember the exact wording, but it says they can't find the URL. On them, if you download it, take them over to GoDaddy's bulk URL checker. Paste them in. You can paste it up to 500 in or 2,000 if you're logged in. Click a button and it'll go and check every single one for you, and then just buy all the ones you can get your hands on. And and then we use them. We set up sites that have got all the 404 pages of 301 to the home page to pass all the linking profile through, and then we link it through to our site. But we actually build real sites on them. So we build lead generation sites on every URL we buy. So every single site generates an income for the business. And we never purchase domains. We always do it that way. Like we'll go and scrape yellow pages. We'll go and scrape yellow pages, and any that's expired, we'll buy. So we'll go and scrape Reoon, REOON is a great tool for that. We scrape the yellow pages. Like say I wanted Plumber Miami. I'd go and scrape Plumber Miami in yellow pages, get all of the businesses that's gone out of business, buy all their domain names, and then build plumbing sites all around Miami, pointing into the new Miami site that we're looking for. And because if they're on yellow pages, they've been a real business in the past. So they've got a history. So we don't overthink it. We just buy them all and build them. Wait till they get indexed in Google before we ever point them to any of our sites. If they never get indexed, then we never use them. We just leave them sat there on the domain until they start getting indexed. If they don't, we don't force index them, because we want to know if they've got a history where they're going to be negative for SEO. But I mean, a lot of people think as well, if you put a bad link to your website, it'll negatively affect your SEO. It actually doesn't. If you point a bad website to your network nowadays, it doesn't affect you negatively anymore. It just they just don't count it as a link anymore. So
love that. So okay, so I want to when you say point back to your site that you're trying to rank, are those kind of like old businesses, or no? This is like kind of you kind of keep the old businesses separate, and then you have your own new business that you're trying to rank, and then you.
So let's say I was building Plumber Miami and I wanted to rent it out. Then so the process that we'd target is, one of them we'd scrape. So first thing we do is we go to all the local directories and we put them in all the local directories. The second thing we do is we set up a YouTube channel for that particular business, and any videos on the channel, and then we link back from the YouTube profile back to their website. So they're the first two things we do. We don't bother with much of the social media, because most local businesses don't have it, especially the types of trades we're going after. People don't give a shit about if he's just emptied a toilet or whatever, so there's not much social on it. It's not like cute dogs or cats and things like that. So we tend not to bother with that. Then what we'll probably do is go and scrape yellow pages. And what we'll do is we'll find any businesses that have gone out of business in say a 15, 20 mile radius of the Miami plumber. We'll rebuy their domain names, put new plumbing websites on them. And then from the homepage, because we're 301 all of the old links into the homepage, from the homepage we'll link to their site once it's been indexed. So we use that as a link building strategy. Another link building strategy we use is Ahrefs. We will search. So if I was building, I might put Plumbers Association Florida, right? And I would then go through and find all the broken links in the Plumbers Association in Florida, buy the domains for the sites that have actually that have no longer got that are no longer in business, and then build sites on them and build loads of links into my sites. And then we create something that's called a single niche PBN off the back of that. And then another thing we like to do, we use what's it called for this though? We use no, in fact, we still use Ahrefs for this, and then we scrape our competitors. And we check all of our competitors' URLs to see if they've got any broken links. And if they've got any broken links and them URLs are available, we buy them and we end up getting backlinks from our competitors. And then the long-term strategy is simple. We use SE ranking to do competitor analysis. And then we just go through and we search anything from 100 to 500, 600, 700 search terms a month. And we just write an article a week on that and build links using Ahrefs. It's dead simple.
Love that. Speaking of like different types of tools, I mean, what are some other tools like? Because you mentioned scraping. Is there like any tools that you use to scrape like the yellow pages or the associations and stuff like that, or even these local directories? I mean, I guess we can do it by hand, but I mean, we want to be more.
Reun REOON.com, I think it is a yellow pages scraper. It's a one-time fee. It's about $100.
Oh, okay.
So you pay for that. You use proxies, and that'll let you scrape all the different yellow pages all over the world. The broken links checker is inside of Ahrefs. So inside of Ahrefs, you go and search a domain, scroll down the left-hand side, look for broken links, and then just click download. It'll export them all. Then copy and paste a list of URLs into GoDaddy bulk URL checker, and any that are available, we just buy the fucking lot. And then that we don't use any fancy tools or anything for it. It's literally, I mean, Ahrefs is like £400 a month, so I guess that is kind of fancy, but that's it. We don't use any proper scrapers or anything like that, because Ahrefs does most of what we need.
Love that. Okay, so once you build these websites and everything, and you also mentioned that you tag the Magic Page plugin on there, and so you would say you would try to go after a low search volume area first, and then go to your target. So we'll use the plumber in Miami example again. If I was targeting plumber Miami, I'd put Magic Page plug on there, and I'd put a 15-mile radius, and then I'd build it for every area with more than 5,000 population. But then what I would do is I would look at those let's say there's 60 or 70 locations in a 15-mile radius, of Miami. What I will then do is I'll go in and I'll look for areas between about 1 and 300 search a month, which is really low search volume, but it means they're going to be super easy to rank for, because everyone's trying to rank for Miami that's got thousands of search. And then what we'll do is we start doing our link building profile to those 5 little areas. And the reason we do it is Miami, our keyword in Miami will be plumber Miami, but our keyword in one of the smaller areas will be plumber, whatever the location is. And the content's not identical, but it's almost the same, because the service you're offering in Miami is pretty much identical to the service you're offering in these smaller areas. So we start building links to them, and then when people start visiting those pages, what happens is that gives us the trust, that gives us the authority with the user behavior, because the users are searching, finding keyword location so you can rank within a week. And then and people start landing on your site, and straight away they're not going back to Google making the search, and it's like, this is a genuine site, this is real, and that gives you a massive boost. And then you start doing your link building profile to your bigger areas, and they'll rank a lot faster. Rather than waiting 6 months to rank for Miami, you can rank it in Miami in maybe 2 or 3 months. And it's because we're using that user behavior to show as early as possible that this is a genuine business, and people searching plumber location or electrician location or whatever location, they're getting exactly what it is they're looking for every single time. And the only user behavior situation that we give a shit about really is that people, when they come to our website, and not leaving and going back to Google and making the search again.
That is it. We don't care about anything. We don't even care. I mean, we've got sites that we build that we don't have any phone numbers or forms on, but what we instead do is we scrape all of the GMBs for all of the businesses in all of the areas, and then what will happen is as soon as they land, it's like, oh, I've got a full list of all the plumbers in that particular location. So we don't necessarily make any money from that, but what we do is we create a site that's relevant, and then we can use it for our linking profiles. And then if the site starts to really do well, we'll then pop our phone number and our forms at the top of the site above all of the directory listings.
Love that. So I was actually just going to go into that. Like, okay, now you have your website, but I was thinking like, what kind of content are you putting on there? I mean, so you're thinking about like, you're putting other businesses' content, or like kind of creating a little mini directory in these searches. I mean, are you doing like how-tos type of content?
On the directory ones, we've created our own scraper that scrapes Google business profiles and then puts them into our own framework we've created on websites, so we don't have to build a site every time. So it'll go and get the business name, the description, the images. It'll get a link to their actual GMB and iframe it at the bottom of the page. It puts in all their ratings and reviews and stuff like that. So you end up with a list of all the businesses, but if you click the business, it'll take you through to a page that covers the business. So we do that, but we also do the other where we actually physically have somebody who writes content all day, every single day for us. And he builds websites and writes content, and he just works constantly all day. He does about 5 or 6 websites a week. Now they're basically purchased for link. Like we do free SEO audits and stuff like that. We've set up a new agency recently called More Leads Local.
Okay.
And the first thing we've done is we've gone out and purchased thousands of these domains in hundreds of different industries. And we've got a person that just builds the sites all day, every single day. And the whole point of these websites is nothing more than for us to put a citation in the footer that says site by More Leads Local, our address and our phone number. And then the name, the address and the phone number links back to our website. So we're not, and we're just doing this on thousands and thousands of sites because we know straight away that if we're not putting keywords in there and we're not stuffing keywords or doing any of that, Google's going to look and say, fucking hell, this business has got thousands of these citations and it's only just gone live, but they're all from genuine sites in genuine industries that do. So we're building that to build up our link and citation profile. And we'll probably do that for 6 months before we start massively trying to actually generate any huge numbers of clients. We've took on 3 clients and we've got about a 3-month waiting list now for somebody else to join, and we've got about 30 or 40 people that want to jump on, but that's because we've got big audiences. But we won't allow them in through the door yet. And the process of getting in is they have to have an SEO audit, and then after they've had an SEO audit, they then get a 30-minute sit down with one of our guys, one of our experts, and that's so that we know that we're not dealing with people who don't want to go through that whole process, and then they go on a waiting list.
Yep. You gotta weed those out, right? You want to make sure you get the ones that will show you the money. All right. So I mean, okay, once you get like all these websites ranked and stuff like that. I mean, and let's talk about more of like the renting strategy. And for those in the live chat, be sure if you have any questions, ask them because we're coming close to time here. So be sure to ask them in the live chat now while I ask my last few questions here. So once you get your website ranking, I mean, what does the rental process work like? I mean, are you renting like the whole complete site out, and like are there contracts involved? I mean, like, you know, how much, like, what are some potential earnings that, you know, from your experience that if someone wants to like kind of rent their website, are you doing like I'm actually curious, like, do you just 3-1 redirect it, or do you just point links to certain areas? Please explain the kind of process of rental.
No, with Magic Page plugin, okay, there's 2 options. In most cases, if you're renting a site out, what you'll do is you'll put a phone number on the website, you'll redirect the phone number to them, and they get the site and all the links. But in Magic Page plugin, you've also got something which is a location radius setter for your phone numbers. So if you build a big national website, and what you do is you put in a short code where the phone number is, and you can have a catch-all phone number, but I can say in Magic Page, send all calls that come in within, say, a 30-mile radius of Liverpool to this number, and then send all calls within a 30-mile radius of, say, like Glasgow to this number. So I can build a national website, and as long as I've used Magic Page plugin to build it, I can radius target the phone numbers inside a Magic Page plugin. So what will happen is every single person, so I could have 30 or 40 different people buying leads all over the country, and I don't necessarily need to, I can actually show their phone numbers without thinking. And then if they stop paying, I go in and remove one little tiny bit of code with acrylic that's got their phone number on, and it'll automatically change their radius to our catch-all phone number. So we can set radiuses inside the sites, which is great. But what we tend to do is we'll nearly always build a small site we give to an individual, which is what they like to see. And then because we create what's called single niche PBNs, which we'll build like 7 to 10 site triangles, and we'll have, say, 3 or 4 at the bottom, a few up, a few above, and then we'll build our linking profile on top of that. So you've kind of got an upside down cone effect. And then we'll build lots of them for individual sites. We generate tons and tons and tons of leads from these little these what we call PBN sites that we build, single, because in case you get a manual review, we tend to always put a phone number, a form, and we tend to actually service the clients that come through. But in a lot of cases, what we'll do is we'll get the phone number that goes to these PBN style sites, and we'll automatically redirect it to our client. So our client can look at his site and say, I'm not ranking here, I'm not doing this, not doing that, but I'm getting shitloads of leads, so I don't know where they're coming from. And really he's getting them from all of these other sites that we also own. So yeah, that's kind of one of our, but I mean the rank and rent niche, the best thing to do to generate money fast with your websites is the booking fee model. Okay. So basically go out and take a booking fee over the phone. You can do it with your Stripe account. I mean, when I've got guys based in Romania that answer phone calls for me in the UK, right? And they're not allowed to take a person's phone card details over the phone. So we have links that we just say, just text them the link, right? And that goes straight to a Stripe account, and that automatically is set up for them on the Stripe account. We've got other ones we set up on Thrivecart, so they can send a link via the Thrivecart, and you say you pay your booking fee here, and then that'll automatically give them a 20% commission as the affiliate. So these guys are affiliates. We send them calls, they pick up the phone, answer the call, send out their links to people to book the jobs in, and then we don't pay them until we know that the job's been done and completed. So we end up generating 80% of revenue without doing anything other than building sites and playing around with websites like we enjoy. So that's the best way of turning it into money fast and getting a network of people around you. The rank and rent model is great if you can sell it, and you want to be looking at about $1,000 a month per site minimum. And with that, what we tend to do is a 30-day free trial. So we'll phone a business and we'll basically say, look, we've got a site, it's generating this many, but we have a strategy of how we place it. So we like to ask questions first, and if they tell you to fuck off and they don't want to answer questions, then we'll let them go. And what we tend to do is we figure out the if they know their numbers. If you was to get 10 phone calls today, how many would convert to clients is basically how it works. And then we'd say, okay, so how much is an average client worth? Right. So you're telling me 20% of your calls that come in are worth $1,000 each. And then you're going to get $1,000. So if we can send you 10 calls a week, that's worth $2,000 a week. That's worth $8,000 a month. So if I was to let you have this website for $1,000 a month, you'd agree it's a bargain. Right. And then they're like, they can't say no. And then I say to them, don't worry, I'm not going to ask you for $1,000 a month. What I want to do is we'll do the paperwork now. And I'll give you a 30-day free trial, but after 30 days, $1,000 is going to come out. So all you need to do is, if you don't feel like it's worth it, is cancel before the end of the month, and you'll have made $8,000 completely free of charge, or carry on paying me the $1,000 a month. It's totally up to you. Are you interested? And most of them are like, it's stupid not to. Yeah, you know what I mean. All I've got to do is cancel this. I'm getting $8,000 worth of business for free, and then most of them will get $8,000 worth of business or more. And then they stick long term. So that's kind of our strategy, but we always have to ask that question first. We need to say, like, if I've got a site that's doing 50 calls a month, I would turn around and say, if I send you 50 calls this month, how many clients would you get out of that? And then if they can say, like, I don't know, we just say, oh, it doesn't matter then, and we go and speak to the next person. If he says, well, our average conversion is 20-25%, then we've got a number to work with, and then it's all right, what's your average customer value? And then we can work out what it's worth to them. So when we say $1,000 a month, it sounds like peanuts. Whereas if we're not saying that to them, then $1,000 a month. If I phone you up and ask you for $1,000 a month, you're like, fuck off. You know, it sounds ridiculous. But if I can quickly show you with 2 questions that a site that I'm going to give you is worth $15,000 a month to your business, and I'm only going to charge you $1,000 a month for it, straight away you're like, all right, well, actually, I'm spending $7,500 a month to generate $15,000 on Google Ads. So I'm in. And that's kind of how we do it.
Love that, guys. Be sure to listen to that, because he just broke down the strategy of how you can actually charge for your website. So be sure to check that out. And we are coming close to time here, and I didn't see any other questions come in the live chat, but here's my last question that I ask all my SEO professionals that come on here. If someone wants to get into the SEO game today, get into the SEO industry, in like whether it's like rank and rent or become just a SEO optimizer, whatever it is, what would be your piece of advice to them?
inch wide, mile deep. So basically, go after an industry that is an inch wide, a mile deep, because you can rank. Specialists get paid a lot more than generalists. Okay, you pay a brain surgeon more than a GP. If you become a specialist on underfloor heating, for example, you can charge a lot more money for the website. You can rank it a hell of a lot faster. And if I turn around to plumbers and say, you're only going to get underfloor heating work from this, and he's like, wow, that's the prime jobs, because they hate crawling around in shit and stuff like that for the jobs. So I would say go inch wide, mile deep. That's the first thing to do. And when I say inch wide, mile deep, what I mean is there's a hell of a lot of business in that inch wide, but it's a very, very, very targeted niche. But it's a very, very deep hole, like boiler installations, like boiler repairs, like underfloor heating, like we said a minute ago. If you go in, don't try and say we cover plumbing, but instead go into one of the sub niches that's very, very tight where you can check. So if I say to somebody you're going to get boiler installations all month long, they know that 3 to 5, maybe even 15 grand a boiler installation, right? And if they're getting 30 calls a month on a website, I can comfortably charge them 10 grand a month, and they'll snap my hand off for it. Whereas if I've got a plumbing site that's generating those, and it's a general plumbing website, can you hear that alarm going off in the background?
Yeah, what's that?
Yeah, sorry, it's what I'm going to shut my office window.
Okay, all right. Actually,
sorry, mate.
I thought it was mine. So I was like, wait, is that me? As I press the mute button?
No, it was mine. This is set so you can't hear much, but a car alarm is kind of loud enough. So yeah, I forgot where I was.
No, inch wide, mile deep. Going, just going after spending $10,000 on a boiler is guaranteed, because they can charge like 15, 20 per.
Whereas
per
if you've got 30 calls, if you've got 30 calls a month coming into a general plumbing website, then they could all be unblocked toilets that are worth $100 each. Yeah. So these guys are like, well, I'm not going to give you anything over a couple of $100 a month for this site. Whereas if I turn around and say 30 calls a month and they're all looking for boiler installations. These guys are like, okay, they're fighting over the site. Yeah. So if they're going to do it and you want to go local businesses, what I do, then inch wide, mile deep would be my recommendation to anyone getting started.
Love that. Inch wide, mile deep, going to sub niches. They said riches are in the niches, but if you go into sub niches, that's where more money is at. Okay. All right, Mike, thank you so much for coming on and being my special guest. If anyone wants to get a hold of you, any upcoming projects, please, the stage is yours.
Mate, yeah, I mean, people can get hold of me on the @Mike-Martin is my YouTube channel. The only place I reach out and talk to people is if they message me on my YouTube channel. Okay. More Leeds Locals, our agency. And yeah, that's about it, really. Just become part of our community. We've got a Facebook group which has got about 10,000 people in it, but I'm not in there. So, and that's groups.magicpage plugin, I think, or groups.magicpage. But yeah, reach out, join the community, and get involved in our training. But that's about it. We don't
love it. Love it. Everyone's give a round of applause. Thank you, Mike. Can you hold on for just one quick second? Hold on for one quick second while I sign off here. All right, guys, that concludes another episode of the SEO Video Show. Please support the channel by liking, subscribing, and hit that notification bell. And I will see you this Friday.
Thank you for watching. Hope you come back next week. Make sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss a thing. Hope you learn something new, because the vibe is incredible. From the special SEO professionals, SEO video show. Let's work. Want to see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre De Vera helping you step it up. No delay right now. Time to level up. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Woo!